30 tons of explosive chemicals lost during rail shipment to California. Walmart employee exposes a very clever way that they know when somebody's stealing at the self-checkouts. And I know how much you guys love those Walmart self-checkouts. Say goodbye to the U.S. car market as we know it. Cheap Chinese EVs are definitely coming to the United States. Big update on that. Joe Biden's G7 appearance is littered with gaffes. You guys... It's almost kind of sad sometimes, but I'm going to share this with you guys. You're going to want to see that. The very fast spreading brand new C19 subvariant XBB is a part of a new class of Omicron. Is this what Bill Gates has been warning us about? So also Wells Fargo, Bank of America, they're making big moves that customers are probably going to be pretty pissed off about. I'm going to share those details with you guys later in this video. If you guys are stopping by the channel for the first time, please consider subscribing to the channel and also drop a like for the video. I totally appreciate that. So guys, yeah, President Biden's at it again. He's been at the G7. He's made an appearance, plenty of gaffes. So footage of President Joe Biden's gaffes during the Group of Seven meeting is being shared on social media. The president arrived in Japan on Thursday to attend the meeting of the world's most powerful democracies and scrapped plans to travel to New Guinea and Australia so that he could get back to Washington, D.C. to start working on these debt limit talks. He needs to be really working on that 24/7. We need to get this taken care of. So anyway, conservatives have regularly mocked gaffes made by 80-year-old President Biden, who has recently announced his intention to run for re-election in 2024. I know a lot of you guys are planning on voting for him. Strong sarcasm, but whether you are going to vote for him or not, I don't really care. His age, his health, his mental fitness for office are likely being raised for question by Republicans during the campaign. But early Sunday, the Republican National Committee, the RNC research account clips showed a clip of President Biden stumbling over his words as he's discussed the debt ceiling during a recent press conference. But the question is like, what is he really talking about? Here, I want you guys to check this out.
And there's a lot of other, for example, the idea that we're, in terms of taxes, that they refuse to, for example, I was able to balance the budget. And there's a lot of other, for example, the idea that we're, in terms of taxes, that they refuse to, for example, I was able to balance the budget and pass everything from the global warming bill. Anyway, I was able to cut by $1.7 billion in the first 2 years, the deficit that we were.
Now, whether or not you're a fan of old JB or not, I'm not here to judge, but I almost feel bad for the guy. I mean, he's clearly trying to get a point out, but it's almost like, you know, he's talking about one thing, then he jumps to something completely different. Then it's like, oh yeah, I was trying to make a point about, you know, the budget and how he cut back on the deficit. Oh wait, these guys didn't pay any taxes. It's like, wait, what are you talking about, dude? Anyway, I feel sorry for him. And, you know, his mental aptitude and, you know, it's really in question in terms of whether he's going to be really qualified to continue to lead this country going into 2024. I'd love to hear what you guys think. Do you think Biden can really kind of hold it together enough to make it through another 4 years? Now, check your $2 bills, folks. They could be worth up to $4,500. I don't know if you guys heard about this, and I don't know how many currency collectors that we have in the audience here, but if you have a $2 bill that's burning a hole in your pocket, you might want to think twice before spending it at a store. Now, anytime I've ever gotten a $2 bill, I never wanted to spend them, and I've always saved them, thankfully. And I got to check mine to see if I qualify. But it says here that this bill, the bill itself might be worth a lot more money than just $2. As thousands of dollars more, right? So certain $2 bills can fetch $4,500 and up on the collectibles market, according to the U.S. Currency Auctions website. Just about all of the really valuable ones were printed in the 19th century, but even bills printed within the last 30 years might be worth hundreds of dollars if you have the right one. So it appears that the $2 bill was first printed in 1862 and is still in circulation today, and it originally featured a portrait of Alexander Hamilton, but that changed with an 1869 redesign that put Thomas Jefferson on the bill. Now, the most recent edition of the $2 bill was designed in 1963 which information was cited by the U.S. Treasury Department. But get this: if the $2 bill was minted and printed before 1976, it will likely be worth more than the face value of the collective. It will likely be worth more than its face value on the collectibles market. Now, in certain cases, it may be worth only $2.25. However, the highest value is $4,500 or more for the uncirculated notes from 1890. Although most of those bills range in value between $550 and $2,500. But heck, if you got a $2 bill, and even if it's only worth $550, that's a big come up, and certainly a significant come up if it's worth $2,500. It says here that the values are the same whether the bill has a red or a brown seal on it. And let's see, an original uncirculated $2 bill from 1862 ranges anywhere from $500 to $2,800. So check your dates, guys, and certainly check out the U.S. Currency Auctions website to see if your $2 bill is worth a lot more than $2. Now, I don't know if you guys heard about this, but 30 tons of explosive chemicals were lost during the rail shipment to California. So about 60,000 pounds of ammonium nitrate, a chemical that's used as fertilizer and in explosives, somehow went missing on a rail shipment from Wyoming to California. And this happened back in April. It still hasn't been found yet. I don't understand what's going on with the rail systems, guys. You got explosions, multiple explosions, multiple train derailments. And now we have like missing trains altogether carrying 60,000 pounds of ammonium nitrate. And here, Dyno Nobel, which is an explosive manufacturing company, they notified the federal government of the loss and said in a statement that it was still investigating what happened during the nearly 2-week journey. The company said that the rail car with the material was sealed when it left a manufacturing site in Cheyenne, Wyoming, and the seals were still intact when it arrived in California, Saltdale, California to be specific. So where is all of this ammonium nitrate? How do you freaking lose an entire train? I don't understand this. Now, it says here, quote, the initial assessment is that a leak through the bottom gate of the rail car may have developed in the transit. Okay. You guys believe that if you want. Anyway, say goodbye to the U.S. car market as we know it. Cheap Chinese EVs are coming. Well, Chinese brands have mastered the quality and affordability of EVs, and after years of eyeing the American market, the Chinese brands are poised to arrive. Competition from Chinese brand is very, very real. So it looks like Ford, Tesla, the Chinese manufacturers are coming for your lunch. Now, after years of preparation, Chinese car companies are poised to upend the U.S. electric vehicle market. I already know how much you guys love your electric vehicles. Strong sarcasm on that as well. But industry watchers are saying that it's only a matter of time before Chinese automakers bring their impressive and, most importantly, inexpensive electric cars to the United States. After years of threatening to set up shop on American shores, the companies are closer than ever to making the move to the United States. Now on their home turf, Chinese companies have already vanquished their American competitors, eaten up market share from the likes of Ford, General Motors by offering better quality and less expensive electric cars to shoppers. And they've already started exporting many of these electric vehicles over to Europe as well. So yeah, Toyota, Hyundai, and now BYD. In the 1970s, Japanese car makers like Toyota, Honda, they swooped in with their affordable and fuel-efficient vehicles and basically knocked the U.S. car makers off their heels. And we may very well see this history repeat itself again. And like I said in previous videos, history doesn't necessarily repeat itself, but it often rhymes. Now, I don't know if you guys heard about this, but there's a fast-spreading new C-19 subvariant called XBB. And, you know, the question is this a part of a new class of Omicron? Thought we were done with that. I certainly hoped that we were done with that at least. Now, for the last several months, Omicron subvariants BA.4 and BA.5 have dominated the C-19 cases in the United States. But now there's a brand new class of C-19 subvariants in the rise. And one in particular is getting a lot of attention, and it's called the XBB or the Gryphon. And there's a chance that it could overtake everything else out there. Not a good sign, folks. Not a good sign. And so, I don't know if this is in alignment with Bill Gates' warning. I don't know if you guys saw my recent video where I was talking about the warning that came from Bill Gates. Not looking good. Now, XBB is getting a lot of buzz because it spreads fast and it seems to be able to evade immunity that people have built up from previously having C-19 infections or even getting the vaccines. This, according to William Schaefer, who's a medical doctor, an infectious disease specialist, and a professor at the Vanderbilt University School of Medicine. He goes on to say that he says it's early days and we have a lot to learn. So, hopefully they're just being overly cautious and that this is not going to be a relapse of what we just recently experienced. I don't want to go through that crap again, do you? Now, a Walmart employee, insider information here, folks, exposes clever way that they know when somebody's stealing at the self-checkouts. Now, first of all, right off the rip, I don't think that any of my viewers here on the channel are, stealing from Walmart. And I understand that Target and Walmart are having some significant theft issues, but I already know my community is not a part of that. But this is actually interesting just to hear about it. And we've become so accustomed to self-checkout lanes in the grocery store that it's a bit aggravating whenever you go into one and you see that the option's not available. But this is especially true of Walmart, one of America's largest brick and mortar retailers that are known for its low prices. Well, not so low lately with ultra high inflation. Thanks, Fed Chair Jerome Powell. The subject of the internet's earliest hilarious, if not a little bit mean, viral websites, and for having a gajillion cash register lanes with only 2 open to process transactions at any given point in time. And that I never understood that. You go into Walmart, there's like 50 registers, and I've never seen more than like 4 people manning them. And it's even fewer now with how many different self-checkout stations that they have. But they're saying it's understandable why, so many stores would be wary of installing these in their locations. However, it definitely seems like a shoplifter's dream come true. Faking the weight on the system shouldn't be too difficult, especially if, somebody knows how heavy items are that they're planning on stealing beforehand. They can put a similarly weighted item on the, on the waiter, on the scale rather, and make sure that the item that they're ringing up is significantly cheaper, and then they get away with stealing something that's more expensive. But it's just kind of wild. But anyway, so in the clip, the employee shows a pretty nifty little gizmo developed by Zebra Technologies that's designed specifically for retailers to spy on customers and survey the items that they're actually bringing to the self-checkouts. Now, this particular device can be seen monitoring the items that customers scan, and if there's anything that's amiss, it's going to alert the registers. Now, the scanner is supposed to ascertain whether or not there's any kind of a tomfoolery going on, a little hanky-panky at the registers. And if the customers are actually scanning, they're going to verify whether or not the customers are actually scanning everything that they were putting into the bags at the checkout. So anyway, the stores are getting smarter. Now, I wonder why they didn't start rolling those out sooner rather than just shutting down the Walmarts, the different Walmart stores that we've talked about in previous videos, or were they just planning on shutting those stores down anyway? Now, I certainly don't blame them because the name of the game is profitability, and I'd be looking to shut down stores if people kept stealing from my stores. I'm not about those losses, and I don't blame them from that regard. But I do definitely have sympathy on the employees who depended on those jobs, and of course, those jobs are going away. And of course, I also have sympathy on the people who relied on Walmart being there, the patrons who shop there. And all the small businesses in the vicinity of Walmart who are now not going to get the, excess traffic that Walmart generated to their small businesses that are nearby. So that is definitely going to suck. So Wells Fargo, Bank of America, they're making some big changes, and a lot of customers are probably not going to be all that happy about it. Now, we've seen this wave, this new shift of basically bank branches being shut down. And it seems like it started right around, it seems like it really picked up during the pandemic, and that trend has continued. Now, bank branches are basically going the way of video stores. Y'all remember Blockbuster, gone, right? Pay telephones, gone, right? And there's really not much we can do about it. In Philadelphia, Wells Fargo has closed 17% of its local branches. since 2020. Regional kingpin PNC is not far behind. They shut down 15% of its branches in the Philadelphia area. And Bank of America has gotten into the act too, closing 5% of its physical locations in that particular region as well. And it's not just Philadelphia that's seeing these closures. Big banks are closing their branches in New Jersey, Maryland, Ohio, Washington, D.C., Illinois, and Michigan. So, and don't forget Nevada and California shutting down those branches as well. Big branch closings are actually nothing new, though. I reported from many different bank locations showing what's been shut down, and this trend is really just accelerating, if anything. Now you got to wonder why. Now we already know that CBDCs are going to be rolled out. Is this going to be are CBDCs going to be only for mainly for commercial banking for businesses, or are CBDCs going to be forced out onto the American people? Now, me personally, with what we're seeing and what they're doing over in Canada, if you guys saw my earlier video, I don't see why they're going to keep paper money around. I think that they're going to wipe it out completely. Dollars are going away, and you're going to be forced into a digital currency type of financial system. And many people are like, well, I'm just going to pull all my money out of the bank. I'm just going to deal with cash. And here's the thing, guys. Even if you do that, you got to think about it. What are you just going to do? Hold on to your cash and never spend it? Because once you spend it, that money, if it goes into the hand of another business, right? So think about it. Let's just say you took all your money out of the bank. You got, I don't know, maybe you got $100,000, maybe you got $1 million. I don't know how much money you have. But let's just say you take all your money out the bank. The moment you spend it, you're giving that money to somebody else. You're giving that cash to another business. Now, let's just say that business is, they're not trying to hold on to their cash. They're just going to continue to operate their business. They don't care about the fact that they're rolling out CBDCs, whatever. They're just going along with whatever the government's pushing out, right? Whatever the Federal Reserve is pushing out. So this company, let's just say you took your cash to Walmart. You went grocery shopping or whatever. So Walmart takes all their cash at the end of the day. They deposit that cash into Bank of America, into Wells Fargo, whoever they bank with. In fact, they probably have a Brinks truck that comes and picks up the cash periodically throughout the day. And then that Brinks truck, they put their cash in the bank, right? Now, what's going to happen? That bank is then going to credit your account. But what are they going to do with the dollars? Chances are they're going to destroy the dollars. And now and this pattern is going to continue. So eventually all of the dollars will exit the circulation and there will be no more dollars. So it's kind of like, saving all your money, taking all your money out the bank so you can keep your cash so that you don't have to comply with the CBDCs that eventually get rolled out. I just don't see that as being a viable strategy. But if you guys disagree, definitely hit me up in the comment section down below. I just don't think it's going to work. Now, according to the U.S. Federal Deposit Insurance Bureau, the FDIC, large commercial U.S. banking locations have fallen from 8,000 in 2000 to 4,236 by 2021 and 4,194 by 2022. The spider web of U.S. bank branch offices tied to big banks has slid significantly as well. U.S. banks closed 149 branches and opened up 49 in March, resulting in a total of 78,588 active branches. And in the trend of current bank branch closings, they continue. And they're basically predicting that there may be no bank branches left in as little as 10 years. Can you imagine that? I mean, I always grew up thinking, going into banks, and when I was a kid, I never had much money, but when I was a kid, I would save all my pennies, all my nickels, dimes, quarters, and I would roll them up and, take them into the bank and deposit them into my savings bank account. Maybe I'm just old school, but I've always grown up planning to go into a bank, talking to a teller and conducting my business that way. But evidently, that's being phased out. Anyway, hope you guys found value in the videos that in the topics that we discussed today. If you have, please drop your boy a like for the video. I totally appreciate that. Also, if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing to the channel and let me know what topic we talked about today that was most interesting to you. You should see a video here or something like that. Anyway, check out those videos. I'm pretty sure that you will enjoy what I'm sharing in those videos. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. Another one, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Y'all be safe.